Welcome back to Time Management Strategies for Coaches and Speakers. Part 3, how to get a handle on your tasks and time right now. This video, you may want to bookmark this for future reference. This is going to always be able to help you get a handle on what you need to get done now, as well as what you want to get done in the future. This is a way to get a handle on the mountain of things that is sitting on your mind, that's weighing on your mind and on your back. So I'm going to walk you through my process, and it's actually not my personal process. I didn't completely invent this, although I've put it together from a variety of different places, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a moment. So the problem with time management, and the thing that this process I'm going to walk you through addresses, is that we walk around with a pile, a mountain of stuff in our heads that we are not currently doing, but that we know we want to do someday, maybe tomorrow, later today. And for the most part, most of us don't have a really solid system to use to get those things done, to prioritize them and organize them. Now, as someone who has been diagnosed twice in her life with ADHD, I used to take medication. I've always had, in the past, always had a lot of challenges and struggles with getting things done. And currently in my life, I am mastering the art of being productive and energy rich. And so this, what I'm going to share with you, originated from a course I did called Mission Control. And from that course, which I did twice, I have adapted, adjusted, adopted. I've worked in a lot of different methodologies that I've learned over the years. I've read Getting Things Done, the GTD method. I've watched a bunch of YouTube videos on time management. And everywhere that I can, I pick up something and incorporate it into my process. And what you're going to get today is sort of my synthesized, collated, coalesced methodology that works pretty well for me. The first thing that you've got to understand is that we need to get it out of your head and into a structure. So step 1 is the dump. The dump is where you literally sit down with a pen and a paper, or maybe a computer, because we're in the 21st century now, and you dump everything that's in your head onto this piece of paper, or several pieces of paper, or several pages of notes. I mean everything. I'm talking about that book that you want to write, the haircut that you need to get, the shopping you need to do, every single thing that could possibly take up any time to do, or take up any attention in your brain. You want to get it out in the dump. All right, so this is the brain dump to get the mountain of things out of your head and into some sort of external capture. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to organize. And really, when I say organize, I mean prioritize. So what we're going to use is we're going to use Franklin Covey or Stephen Covey, whoever that guy was, that came up with this matrix. Maybe it wasn't a Covey at all. Who knows? Well, you know who I mean. And that matrix is whether something's important and whether it's urgent, right? If something is important and urgent, it goes here. If it is important and, let's call this no, and this is no. If it's important and urgent, it goes here. If it's important and not urgent, it goes here. Important, not urgent. If it is not important but it's urgent, it's not important but it's urgent. And if it's not urgent, not important, it goes here. Now, I don't know if that exactly maps on to his system, but this is good enough for now. We just have to understand that there are 4 categories. Some things that are urgent and very important, things that are urgent and not very important, things that are important and not urgent, and things that are neither important nor urgent. And what we want to do is take everything in the dump and categorize it in one of these 4 categories. So I would recommend, if you're doing this on a computer, create 4 categories and just copy paste everything into one of these categories. Now, the next thing we want to do is put everything that is important and urgent and important and not urgent on your calendar immediately. So we're basically saying everything that's important goes on your calendar first. Whether it's urgent or not, we want to get it on the calendar. Now, here's the thing. Let me back up a second, because this was in the first part of this video series, but I want to emphasize it now. Before you do any of this, make sure that you listen to my second video in the series and that you block out all your free time first. I want to make sure that before any of this goes onto your calendar, that your self-care is on there, that your downtime is on there, your vacations are on there. Make sure that you've scheduled your free time first, and then you put this into what's left after your free time. Now, obviously, your urgent and important items will be the things that you need to get out the door fastest, but we definitely want to make room for the things that are important but not urgent. And that's because things that are important and not urgent are things that really matter usually. For example, that book you want to write, that course you want to create. These are examples of things that, number one, you want to create in the world. They help call you forward into a greater version of yourself. They're important. They're things that matter, but since they're not urgent, they often get left by the wayside and they never get done. So it's really important that we put those things on the calendar and we start to set aside a time within which to do them. Now, a second thing to consider as you're putting it on the calendar is you might have to break them into chunks, like smaller chunks. Like, for example, that book you want to write, which is important and not urgent, let's break that into what's the first step of that book? Well, you got to create an outline. So create book outline into your calendar. Give yourself a half a day or 2 hours or 4 hours. I'm a big believer in giving yourself bigger chunks of time for creative work and smaller chunks of time for not creative work. You've heard from my last video, getting your meetings down to 20 minutes, 30 minutes, like really getting highly efficient and productive at the things that are more the busy work and leaving yourself room and space for the things that are the creative work. That's just my personal preference and opinion. By the way, if you're getting value from this and you like this video, please go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. That way you'll find out when I give more videos. Now, by the way, inside of this step 3, one thing that I'm going to recommend, and I'm going to put it in a different color so it stands out, let's use green, is for this is where in my life I get a coach or a mentor. For example, when I wanted to write my books, I have 3 books right now currently being worked on by other people because they were important to me and I wanted to make sure they got done. So I brought in a coach and a mentor to work on each project with me. So these important things are where I invest in outside support the most. On top of also investing in outside support for the next thing that I'm going to share, which is what to do about those urgent and not important, not urgent tasks. So the 4th thing you do is delegate and delete. I ask you, if something is not urgent and not important, do you really even need to do it? Probably not. Can you just delete it altogether? Most likely. Sometimes these are dumb little things that we really don't even realize are taking up space in our heads, and we just haven't taken a moment to say, do I really need to do that, or can I just let that go? Like, I'll give you an example. Like, I don't need to have my car cleaned every single week, right? My dad thinks I should, my brother thinks I should, but it takes up, a chunk of time, and I don't need that. What if I got it cleaned every 2 weeks, or every 3 weeks, or even every month? Don't tell him. Right? Like these not important, not urgent tasks are things that generally can be deleted. And then, let me get blue for this one. These are tasks that can often get delegated. This is where I highly recommend hiring someone for $12 to $20 an hour who can take that thing right off your plate. Generally speaking, I invest the most money in the high-level things like mentoring for bringing projects to completion, books, things that I really want to create and activate in my life. And then I spend a lot down here on delegating out the things that suck away my time and don't give me a big return. That way I can spend most of my time in that creation mode and serving mode. So just think about what when you delegate something here, you're releasing yourself to focus on the bigger tasks and, in my opinion, revenue generating activity. So you can spend $15 or $12 or $20 an hour to get someone else to wash your car, for example, or do your laundry, and then you can go and make a $2 or a $3 or a $10,000 sale with that same exact amount of time. And if for whatever reason you cannot delegate or delete them, then I recommend batching them and setting up a specific amount of time every week and keep it short so that you're really forced to be productive to execute those. One thing that I batch is my email. I check email. I don't check it constantly throughout the day. Generally speaking, I batch it to certain days of the week and certain hours of those days where I just bang out as many emails as I possibly can. And now I have a personal assistant who's also going through my inbox and looking for things that she can take off my plate. Now, the final step, and this is something I got directly from Mission Control, is a not doing now and a never doing now list. So the not doing now and the never doing now lists are places to hold things that you don't actually have in your calendar. So for example, I want to watch the new Matrix movie. It's not urgent, it's not important, but I want to do it and I don't want to take it off my list. I don't want to lose track of it. So that might go on my not doing now list. And that's basically where I keep track of all the things that I'm not doing right now and that I don't have a now, aka a calendar time, within which to do them. But hey, I don't want to lose them. They're captured somewhere. And a never doing now list is just basically more of the same. It's like, I'm never going to take golf lessons, but somewhere in my mind, I thought it would be nice to learn how to golf. So that might be going on my never doing now list. And then what you do is every so often you look at your never doing now list and you cross things out, or you move them up into the calendar or move them up into the not doing now list. So that's my time management strategy. That's how I organize myself and get a whole lot of things done. I wish you the very best of luck. And if you want help with managing your own time and becoming more productive, more efficient, making more money, having more joy, then let's connect. You can find out more about my program at superstarbusinessbreakthrough.com.